Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. Yeah, Monday. That's right, Monday. Monday leading into Super Bowl Sunday, Monday. Monday leading into the ability for another Bearcat to secure a Super Bowl ring Monday. Monday as well, when there were two basketball games, one great one with a win, a 10-point win, a net bonus win, if you will, Monday. The other one, not so great. The other one, the opposite of the game was closer than the score indicated Monday. But yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. Also Monday, where you know what, guys, we just keep coming and we just keep bringing the energy and we bring the happiness and we bring the excitement because we're here and we're all assembled. So without further ado, I'm gonna welcome in two guys. One guy has travel issues, if you will. It's, as Chad used to say, it's hard. It's hard getting to certain places in the country. It's hard. Without further ado, Aaron Smith, Chad Brennell. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good. I'm not going to talk about food anymore. I got yelled at last week, so I'm good.
By who?
By Jordan Fishel. Yeah.
Seinfeld is one of like the most watched shows and most quoted shows of all time. So if he's gonna reference the beginning of this podcast to an episode of Seinfeld, I think we're doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm doing
so talk good. About food. I want to hear about food, to be honest.
Nothing exciting. I made a little beef tenderloin tip stir fry tonight.
Sure. Not a lot, but a little beef tenderloin tip stir fry. Continue.
It was pretty good. It was some what are they called? Some, damn it, what are the kind of the noodles, the stir fry like noodles? Udon. Oh, udon noodles.
Maybe egg noodles. Something like egg noodles.
No, not egg noodles. I don't like egg noodles in stir fry, but kind of like a Mongolian barbecue noodle.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was dinner tonight. Nothing too exciting.
Weekend was good. What are you guys getting hit with another snowstorm here soon? I saw.
Tomorrow, yeah. I guess we could talk about going to. I went to Butcher and Barrel on Saturday for dinner. It's an Argentinian steakhouse downtown.
Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and cross this off the list. I saw your pictures.
And they brought me a water with the Xavier cup, with the Xavier glass. I sent it back.
Question is, do you think on purpose? That's the main question.
No, it wasn't on purpose. The server definitely did not know who I was. I explained it and showed her the Twitter replies that were like, knock it off the table. Don't they know who you are? She most definitely was not aware of who I was. But she gladly took the Xavier glass. She brought me a new glass of ice water so that I didn't have to look at it at the table.
Was that Mad Tree? No free ads? Something?
Yeah. I mean, we're a Rheingeist podcast, but I wasn't going to be like, can you bring me a Rheingeist glass?
Excuse me, man. This one's not as bad as the one before, but it is a little worse.
But it's still not. Yeah, it's still not up to par. Do you have a Cincy Light glass you can bring me? But yeah, the food was good. They had like a dinner for two type deal that had a couple like small filet mignons, and then a cut of skirt steak, and then a cut of New York strip. And then two Argentinian sausages and some shrimp. And then you got two sides and a Caesar salad.
Wow. Okay.
We went with balsamic Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
Awesome. Really good. And then some like crispy smashed potato type deals. Like it had a good crust on it. It was really good dinner.
So
once they took care of the Xavier glass thing.
Is it like a Fogo de Chao light type place?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, like they had like a full regular menu. You could get steaks, like Argentinian steaks, and different Argentinian fare. I would have, if we would have gotten appetizers. They had like an empanada trio that looked pretty good. But yeah, it was good experience.
All right. Wow. Gonna have
Minus
to check
the
it out.
Xavier glass. Minus
You
the
know
Xavier.
what? Shouts to them though, making the quick maneuver. I on X.com, the Everything app, I did see one of Xavier's hot spots that they go to. Yet again, no free ads. They had a bit of some issues there on their floor. Yucky doodle daisies. So thoughts and prayers to them for that rusty cleanup. But good to hear. Good to hear. Aaron, sir, how are we?
I'm fine. I eat food. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm ready to get a podcast going.
Okay, I like the sound of that, Aaron. Hot and jiff to the point. I like it. Super Bowl Sunday, a couple days away. Are you excited? Are you a Seahawks fan?
I'm a Kobe Bryant fan.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, should be an exciting little Bad Bunny. Get to see him at the halftime show. He just took home Album of the Year last night. You guys watch the Grammys?
No.
Talk about a marathon television show, the Grammys last night. You just kept thinking it was over. Maybe it's over. Maybe it's over. And they do it again and again and again. Just kept going. So Album of the Year, Bad Bunny. Shouts to him. But you know what? Here in the Cincy Light Studios, I understand the weather is not too beautiful. I had a
today was great.
Oh,
it was like 34 degrees.
Oh,
heat wave. It was a heat wave in Cincinnati.
That's the heat wave, 34 degrees, baby.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. But yes, anyway, you should head over to Danco Transmission Auto Care because I had a delivery over the weekend, the day job, if you will. They had a couple flat tires, engine needed to be tuned up, led to some late deliveries, bad ordeals. You know what? I don't know if Danco Joe can handle a 53-foot truck, a big old semi, a big old rig, but I think he could definitely handle your car, whatever you've got. Go send him over to Danco Transmission Auto Care. Get $10 off the next oil change, 10% off the next fixing, Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about good Big 12 teams real fast. Matthew Berman wanted to get a little quick question as a little live podcast. Can be weird when you hear this. Chad, who do you think is winning tonight? Texas Tech and Kansas. Who you got?
Is Darren Peterson going to play a whole game? Like, that's the hard part with Kansas right now. When he's out there, they're one of the best teams in the country because he's that good. But the best ability, Brent, some would say, is availability. And much like Ryan Royer, Darren Peterson's availability is often questionable. So I'll go with Tech.
It'd be interesting to see if Darren Matsubara will be in attendance. I think that's the Darren that we need to track a little bit more than Darren Peterson, supposedly. So who knows? The signs, if you will. But yeah, those are two good teams in the Big 12. There's Big 12 shaping up to be kind of strange. A lot of really good teams at the top. And then you got a lot of teams that maybe aren't so hot. Cincinnati had the best of both worlds in this past week, home against one of those teams that's not so hot. The Baylor Bears, a 10-point win. A game where, honestly, Baylor looked a little overmatched by the Bearcats, if I want to put it plain and simple. You guys...
Cincinnati did not exactly play well in that game.
No.
And they didn't make a field goal the last 7.5 minutes, and Baylor never threatened. Like, that's not a good Baylor team.
No. And then they go on the road and they beat West Virginia by 10. It's a weird league outside of those top heavy teams. Cam Carr, he seemed pretty much pedestrian in that game against Cincinnati, really taking him out of his element. I think he was trying to force things once he was getting held pretty much scoreless throughout most of the game. And, obviously the return of Dan Skillings is what Bearcat fans are talking about the most. He was held pretty much in check, or pretty much to his standard that we were all used to seeing.
Baseline Dan.
They're big. Yeah, exactly. They're bigs, non-existent. That I understand they had some injury issues or whatnot, but a weird type of game because yet you look up and you see there's a lot of NBA scouts in attendance, and they walk away with thoroughly impressed by one player, and that's Baba Miller. And before we talk about the weekend game, I want to talk a little bit more about Baba Miller. Chad, you and Dave kind of touched on it a little bit, but do you guys know? Quick trivia time early in the pod. Gonna really hit you with some electricity very early. Last time that the Bearcats had a player average more than 13 points and more than 10 rebounds in a full season.
Trey Scott.
Trey Scott was close. He was over 11 and over 10, but he did not go above 11 in points per game.
Well, I mean, Trey was the first person to average double-digit rebounds in a long time. So
yes,
Max Hicks
was close. Kmart was close. You keep going, and you keep wondering, hey, when is this? They're going to be a player that kind of matches these similar scenarios, and it doesn't happen until 1983.
Oh my
God. Dwight Jelly Jones was the player that was able to average on par or better than what Baba Miller is doing so far this season. And then you go back a couple more years, and Pat Cummings is another big name that a lot of Bearcat fans will probably know a little bit better. And he also put up similar numbers, actually a lot better. It was Dwight Jones in 1983 and Pat Cummings in 1979 averaged a little bit more than 13 points and 10 and a half rebounds. But
Chad
guys,
was the only one alive for the first one.
Yeah. Chad, you remember seeing Dwight Jones out there for the Bearcats?
No.
I think they finished under 500 that year.
1980?
Like 83.
1980? Oh, no, I was 6.
Oh, so you were live for both of them.
Yeah.
77. Pat
77.
Cummings getting buckets out there. So he's doing some stuff right now that very unfamiliar territory for us Bearcat fans. Obviously, we've seen Kmart, Hicks, Danny Fortson, players of that sort, but they weren't able to cross over that 10 plus rebound mark. So he's putting up great games. But one thing that's kind of stymied him this year, and Aaron, I don't know if you've mentioned this. I think you were kind of alluding to it, but when the competition amps up, whether it be Houston, whether it be Louisville, whether it be Clemson, his numbers kind of falter a little bit against those type of teams. And it happened on Saturday, 2 points, 8 rebounds in the blowout loss to Houston. But Baba Miller, where would you guys rank him as far as players during the Wes Miller era?
2.
I'd probably go 1. Just
Nuts,
because he
right?
does so many things well.
Crazy.
I mean, it's him and Landers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy between one of those two. I think I'd take Baba just the multitude of ways he impacts the game. And I think he's been outstanding defensively. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for how good his defense has been. Like, if you go back to last year, remember every talented 4-man that they played last year, it was like a feast. Like, just clear out, throw the guy the ball and watch him get buckets. Even with as good as Dylan Mitchell was defensively, he really struggled against, JT Toppin and the grandpa from Houston.
That's
that I'm talking about.
Juwan Roberts, Aaron's favorite player.
Yeah. So I think he's been we haven't talked enough about how good he's been defensively, but when you add in the defensive rebounding on top of that, he's been a monster on the glass. He's been really the only consistently good offensive player. Has he had a bad game here and there? Yeah, but you can count on him for 13, 14 points, it feels like, minimum every night. Yeah. And he's going to get there. So, yeah, I would have him at 1. If you wanted to say Landers, like, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it's one of those two, and I'd take Baba.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you value, as far as you value the other stuff, or if you want a pure shooter.
You value the 3-pointer as highly as you do, so I can understand why you go Landers.
Okay.
Inside joke. Go back and listen to all the nightcasts if you really want to deep dive into that inside joke. But yeah, and the crazy thing is Baba is doing all this while shooting 3 of 33 from deep. That is one facet of the game where you thought maybe he was going to be able to be a tinge better than what Dylan Mitchell brought to the team last year from deep. But boy, he's been rough from long range. But yeah, he affects the game in so many ways. And you're hearing NBA toss around, and I think I agree, because he does so many intangible things that just translate well to the NBA outside of shooting the basketball. But he can handle it. He's got length. He's got height. He's can rebound the crap out of the basketball. That's the thing, Chad. It's like, defensively, yes, he's in the right spots. He's able to defend multiple positions out of his area, but it's defensive rebounding that just makes him so vital. He's 6th in the country in defensive rebounding percentage, which is outstanding. And like you said, he's always there offensively, which brings up the tough question then is, who else is there for this team offensively? Answer on Saturday was, well, maybe Mustafa Cham. He starts strong again, continues his play as always improving through the latter half of the season so far, and then of course he goes down with an injury. And then you saw that the answers offensively are kind of like no one and maybe Jalen Celestine. So Celestine, whichever way you want to say it, I guess. But that brings the point up. Saturday, you guys already had the aftermath, and sadly, we do not have Ryan Royer available tonight, as he is on the. We didn't have him on the injury report before tonight's game, kind of like Buck Harris before the Baylor game, but he was out with an injury. We heard about it very, very close to tip time, so we're gonna give him a pardon tonight, I believe. But a couple days removed, it's never too often that you say a game, the final score wasn't truly indicative of how the game played out, if that makes sense. Do you guys agree with that one? A 22-point loss. This felt like a 30-point loss for pretty much the entire time, even when they were only down by 12 or 15 in at halftime in the beginning of the second half. But I don't know. A couple days removed, Chad, I kind of agree with you. It was one of those where once the hits started coming, you were kind of just like, wow, this game sucks. When is it going to be over type scenario? But a couple days removed, Darren, any further thoughts on just kind of Houston 22-point win?
No, I'm even more mad today than I was watching it that day, that I had to watch that game and waste that much of my weekend that I can't get back. It was just a horrible showing, and talking about it was equally painful.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing enjoyable about that experience in any way, shape, or form. I did not have fun. The guy, there just was nothing about it. I would rather have like just about any other thing to do Saturday at noon than that.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
There's it's a good way to put it. And then now it's Super Bowl Sunday is upon us, and the Bearcats play on Sunday
at 2:00. Like even like noon. Okay, 2:00.
Yeah.
2:00. The game kicks off at 6:30. I'm gonna get home at 6.
Yeah.
5:45, 6:00. Keegan's filling in and doing it. I would have had to do it if the Rams were playing in the Super Bowl. Because Keegan he's a big Rams fan.
Okay.
No, he's a Rams fan.
Okay.
And you know how I am. If my employees have ties to a championship game, I try to accommodate them.
Correct.
As best as possible.
Yeah.
But since the Rams aren't in it, Keegan and Aaron are going to do the aftermath.
Well, and
because Aaron said he doesn't care. He's only going to. Aaron's just going to watch the bad. I know he's super excited about the Bad Bunny halftime show.
Bye-bye.
But other than that, he said he wasn't going to watch the game. So,
that's the vital part about Aaron is every single championship game. He's like, I don't care. I don't care about these teams. Oh, I don't care. So like you kind of got and like you picked the perfect time because like Reds aren't going to the World Series anytime soon. Although maybe a little bit of magic going on there in Cincy right now. Hey, you Gino, if you will, Mr. Suarez, bring him in. But yes, it's going to be a fun game, and this time it reminds me of the time that a couple games on Super Bowl Sunday that the Bearcats played in the past. I remember a Tulane game kind of ruining my Super Bowl Sunday before the day even kind of really began.
Yeah, that was a rough one
a while back, but either way, Sunday against a UCF team where Chad on every single pod and show you said, oh, they're not very good. UCF's not a good team. Pretty decent. They just had a big win against Texas Tech and looking everything like a 6-7 seed.
Probably that's about where they're at this point.
Where's Royer when you need him? Jeez, oh Pete. Anyway,
I'm over the 6-7 thing. Like we've beaten that dead horse to death. I'm over it.
Still all over it. I'm still all over it. But yeah, so back to the Houston game. It just outclassed type scenario. Just a leading into it, never had a true feeling that they even had a chance to win the game. Then you saw the beginning of the game, and Aaron kind of mentioned it as well, where it was kind of like, hey, it took 3 minutes for Houston to even make a shot. Well, or 4 minutes for Houston to make a shot. I think we hit the first shot, right, with Chom hit a little jumper 3 minutes in. And just you don't take advantage of that. And then Houston, to be honest with you, we talked about Kirk Creason making only 1 3 throughout the entire game. That 1 3, like Houston was starting to click. They had the oop to Cenac, a couple other threes. Cenac had a 3. I think Sharp had a 3. Where you were kind of like, uh-oh, Houston's in their bag today. And then if it wasn't for that 3 made by Kirk Creason in the corner, I think that was going to be an avalanche where it was even grosser before it got gross. But either way, it's a loss. And everyone in Bearcat land is head in hands, I guess. This was one where it was a scenario where, if you want to sniff the bubble of the tournament, it's even ridiculous having that come out of my mouth. But you would have had to win that game, most likely, because you need some sort of a flow going. Although the bubble is extremely bad this year, which is another story in a different sense. But that kind of, I mean, unless you guys want to talk any more about Houston, I mean, we could talk a little bit about
why are you still going?
Oh, I got a little bit about this. Day Thomas. Do you remember last year how we kept on joking about the whole Space Jam, someone came in and stole the talent from all of our players type scenario a couple times. Day Thomas. I think that sort of thing might have happened to him right after the Iowa State game, because up to that point he was averaging right around 13 points, right around 4 assists, 1.6 turnovers per game, 43.7% from 3. Last 4 games, averaging 4 points per game, 21.1% from 3, almost 3 turnovers a game. I don't know. Chad, you kind of alluded to potentially seeing it kind of, Wes mentioned it as well, where the minutes were adding up, the usage was adding up, and maybe a miniature wall hit in the middle of the season type scenario. But whatever it is, he's been struggling the last handful of games.
Yeah, he's not a 48% 3-point shooter or whatever it was he was shooting earlier in the year. So you knew there was going to be some regression. You knew there was going to be some dip that was coming. I think Aaron's, I don't say this very often, I think Aaron's definitely on to. Does he shoot anything closer than 25 feet now?
Oh, shoot. Oh, my gosh. Ridiculous. Well, sometimes it's end of shot clock, but even still, it's like, whoa, you had 5 feet between you and the person in front of you. Like,
yeah,
no reason to fire it up from 30.
And he's passing up good looks at the line.
Yeah.
Like getting it and just getting rid of it, or taking 2 dribbles into the lane when he's wide open in rhythm, catching it at the 3-point line and getting rid of it. Like he needs to be at 30 feet or 27 feet or whatever before he launches a shot. That's how your numbers go way down unless your name's Steph Curry.
Well, I think it also contributes to the fact that he's not driving, because when you're catching it 7 feet behind the arc, your first step is nowhere near the arc. So how are you? You're just not doing yourself any favors playing that far back if you're trying to drive, because you've given the defense plenty of time to set up for whatever way it is that you planned on going.
Right. Yeah, it's puzzling, because then you start to see pushing avenues of a game that's not even typed there, which is what I think you saw a little bit against Houston, where with the turnovers that started adding up because he was just forcing things, trying to get into positions where he probably shouldn't get to, and all of a sudden just having it taken away from him. I don't know. It just
jumping between two defenders at the same, like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and just literally having it grabbed out of you. It just,
you're in your 5th year of college basketball. You know better, that you've played Houston 7 times,
right?
8 times in his career.
And he's not stupid. He has a good basketball IQ. He's just, it's almost like a golfer with the yips. Like, you just don't understand why you're playing the way that you're playing, because this is not what we've come accustomed to expecting out of Day Thomas, especially in his final year.
Yeah, which is which also leads to the question, well, maybe at this point the Big 12 knows about Jizzle James and Day Thomas, and they know what they need to do to contain them and pretty much deny them. So that's what we got to handle for the rest of the conference slate up to now. But up to this point, I think you can pretty much, barring an unrealistic, even in my world, scenario where the Bearcats have a magical run to the NCAA tournament, March Madness, you can kind of take a look at certain things right now as far as it goes. There was a little graphic floated around X.com, the Everything app, no free ads, but they do pay you if you do a good job on there. Chad and Aaron, I think you take full advantage sometimes. It's the Power 5 teams with the longest March Madness drought. I've seen that tweet floating around numerous places, and there's a handful of teams. There's 9 teams total that they were listed. Then it goes back to 2019, and there's some similarities on the list and some differences as well. The most glaring similarity is that out of those teams, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 total teams on there that haven't been in the tournament in the Power 5 since 2019. Only 3 of those teams have a coach that are in their 5th season or more that the coach has not made any tournament at all. And I think you guys know one of those coaches. Pretty obvious. Wes Miller. The other one, there's a coach who's in his 6th season in the ACC, has not made a tournament. Chad, I don't know if you know this answer.
Is that Forbes?
Yep, Steve Forbes at Wake Forest. His 6th season, 0 NCAA tournaments. I can't imagine Forbes sees another season. He's sitting at 500 right now, 11-11, just like Wes in Cincinnati. And then the other coach in his 5th season is Earl Grant, Boston College. And Boston College hasn't been to the tournament since 2009. They're sitting at 9-12 on the year. The other interesting part of this is that you have coaches like Mark Madsen, his 3rd season at Cal, currently on the bubble. Andy Enfield in his 2nd season at SMU, they are projected 7 or 8 seed. Then you have UCF, mentioned them earlier. Johnny Dawkins went to the NCAA tournament in his 3rd season. They're projected 7 or 8 seed this year as of right now for UCF. So the current comparison level is Wake Forest and Boston College. Interesting. Keep that in mind. So one other final thing about this. As of right now,
you've been going for like 9 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll sit back.
Let's talk about stuff.
Let's hear your thoughts, guys.
It's bad. We know it's bad. Like, we don't have to rehash it. They haven't been in the turn. That's why Wes is on the hot seat. That's why we're talking about how good is the job and who might be candidates for the job. And will Wes be fired on April 1st, or will it happen at the end of the season? Like, we don't need a 9-minute soliloquy to tell us they haven't made it's been too long since they made the tournament, Brent.
Well, I was leading into that, but yes, I agree.
Can we do it faster?
Yeah, yes. Okay. The good thing is that there are 11 current coaches that are in their 1st season at their school that are currently projected to be in the NCAA tournament. 11. They are on the bubble or currently projected to be in the tournament. 11 first-year head coaches. So, guys, the question begs, if the Cincinnati position was to open up this offseason, how good of a level coaching position is this if it were to open up this offseason?
It's an upper mid level power 4 basketball job.
Didn't we have this question last week?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Like, it's not in, you know, the is it in a blue blood tier? No. If a blue blood job or one of the, you know, top 15 jobs in the country comes open, will Cincinnati be able to get their number 1 candidate over Kansas or Arizona or Duke or Kentucky or Louisville? Like,
Michigan, Indiana.
Yeah, like they don't have that level of resources. They don't have that level of support. They don't have, how many times have we talked about, they don't have the billionaire donor in their back pocket to like fix whatever needs fixing. But in terms of like the jobs that are projected to be open, here's the thing. Every coach is its own individual thing, right? Every coach is going to have their own set of, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I want to live. These are the conferences that I'm interested in. But ultimately, like, you know, it's Syracuse and Pitt open. It's in that area. Providence, I don't know how much Providence is a good job, as much as Providence just has the loudest, most obnoxious group of fans on the internet. Like, that is a lunatic fan base. Lunatic fan base. But I don't think they're in the same realm, I guess. But it would be attractive to like a coach that doesn't want football. They want to be the big show. They want to be, you know, the number 1 priority for a school that doesn't have to worry about football, doesn't have to, you know, deal with, you know, all the expenditures that come with that. But as it stands, Brent, like, Cincinnati should be right in that top group of 3, 4, 5 schools that are looking to probably come open in this cycle.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to throw out a couple of schools: Virginia, Iowa, Texas A&M, NC State, Miami, Florida, New Mexico. These are all teams that are currently projected in the tournament right now with first-year head coaches.
Mhm.
They aren't these big blue bloods that are out there that attract big names, but they are teams that were able to identify the coach that they wanted and get that coach. I think Cincinnati is above every single school that I just mentioned. As far as
I don't necessarily agree with that.
well, on the same level, if not above,
In a similar tax bracket, yeah,
right,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, like it's not like any of those schools I mentioned are blue blood material. So that's the question. It's going to be is when the job opens up, if it does this off season, who do they target and who do they go after? Because the ability to attract a coach that you want and bring that coach in at Cincinnati is right up there with any opportunity that's going to come available, as you mentioned, Chad. I don't think there's really any that can stump what Cincinnati brings to the table as far as all of the different levels of things that you want right now. I mean, I don't know how important like NIL is on someone's list. How important,
it's way up there on everybody's list right now.
Right. Exactly. Which is all things considered supposedly a pretty good thing. You've got Nike / Jordan on your side. You've got so many different things that is intriguing for Cincinnati as a position to bring in a coach and have success. So yeah, I have them right up there. Aaron, what do you? I mean, it's an attractive position to be in, especially in the Big 12.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing than anything is it's a double-edged sword, though. It's
right.
An extremely difficult job because you're in the Big 12, but should you have success, it's success in the Big 12. So take that with as you will, I guess. But I don't. It's not easy to win in this conference, as we've seen, and it's not just us who start with it. I mean, we saw Chad and I talked about it last night. Jerome Tang to go from where he was just a couple seasons ago in the Elite Eight, and now you can't afford to fire him without spending damn near $20 million, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Tang is just boy. Talk about striking while the iron was hot. His first season.
Again, they took a risk. They took a huge gamble in Keontae Johnson, a guy nobody else would really touch because he had heart issues.
Yep.
And Florida wouldn't clear him, and a lot of teams stayed away. They decided to go. They reaped the benefits of that, but finding a guy like that every year, not easy, not ideal. And they have spent. You want to talk about spending money and not getting results.
Right.
They have spent a shit ton of money and haven't gotten results in Manhattan, Kansas.
Yep. Including currently PJ Haggerty. He was not cheap at all. That's the thing is when you have a coach like that after year one, that whole fan base is probably like, yes, we hit a home run, let's go. And then now you're sitting there, you're like, ah, shoot, what's going on?
And he's lecturing them, telling them what they want and what they don't want, or he's not going to answer press questions at press conferences because they're going to get clipped up. And
but he's saying just weird stuff too, like even last
because he's fucking weird.
He is. And that's the thing too. It's like, even he lucked. I don't want to say lucked into a scenario, but he was able to get his team to a scenario where they made the NCAA tournament, where they advanced to the Elite Eight in his first season at Kansas State. And it's not like Bruce Weber left him with a cupboard full of great options. He kind of has had the little magical run in him, and in 5 seasons, 0 opportunities for the Cincinnati team to make it. But I think that this position available is, you need that tier that you're mentioning, Chad. They fall right into it. And with the potential openings coming up, there's not really anyone that's going to be above that tier. And you would hope, yes.
If you go into the market, if you go into the job market, you hope you don't get an unexpected, the good thing, I guess, about like an NBA job opening up, like that won't happen until much later in the cycle. Like everything will have pretty much, remember the Danny Hurley LA Lakers thing, like that was late April into May, I think.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have to deal with that per se. Like that UConn job coming open at that point in time would have been chaos.
Yep. Because
it could have had a huge ripple effect. But you're not going to be dealing with that. Most of these places, like if Bill Self says my health, I just can't do it anymore, coupled with all the other crap we have to deal with and everything that's going on, like I'm going to retire.
Yep.
That Jock Vaughn is a former NBA coach. Like he's on that bench for a reason. And that's to be there if Bill Self steps aside. Kelvin Sampson, if he steps, if he retires, his son takes that job. There's a lot of those like jobs that haven't turned over, that there's kind of a succession plan in place. And I guess LSU would be interesting because they theoretically they have all the resources in the world down there. So even though that's not a great basketball school, it's a good basketball job that people are going to want because you'll have the resources. But that, like in LSU, goes back to why I say like it's coach to coach. It's situation to situation, because there could be a coach that looks at that and says, I want that. I want a place where like football is the driving factor and I can just do my job. Like I don't have a lot of the heat that a Kentucky or a Kansas or somebody gets. Like there were, Kentucky fans talking about getting rid of Mark Pope, and they had won like 5 or 6 SEC games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are going to be coaches that look at that and want that and crave that. There are going to be coaches that look at that and go, man, I think I'd rather just go to an LSU where I've got all the resources, everything I need, and there's not going to be somebody breathing down my neck, 24/7 to be a top 15 type team.
Which is also another thing that probably some coaches do love is that amount of support and that amount of like want and, seeing a 500 Cincinnati team still getting this much attendance at every single game. It's just
Wes is in year 5 and hasn't made the tournament.
Yeah.
The fans are still coming out and supporting the team.
It's crazy. And
SEC is dog water. What the fuck are you talking about, Mark? Like that's one of the top 2 basketball conferences in the country. Last year, it was by far the number 1 basketball conference in the country. This isn't the SEC of 8 years ago. All these programs have invested heavily in basketball. They all have, there's a ton of great coaches in the SEC.
There are. Yeah. And I mean, they just added a handful of really good ones too. I mean, it's just, people are going to mention Josh Hurts, and I'm just going to obviously fall in line with everyone in the country when I say I love the man. Him going and pouring shots at Humphrey's Tavern and letting everyone rub his head, and a recent press conference he's talking about how he enjoys how there's no professional NBA team in St. Louis. Well, a certain other place where there's no professional team in the city. He mentioned also that there's no other big major college basketball team in the city, and he said, like, no disrespect to Longwood, you could say the same thing here. No disrespect to that team in Norwood. It's a
different city.
Right. It's something that I don't know. There's a lot of things that he probably would love, and people don't remember it. Most likely, he probably would have been the front runner for the Louisville job if he didn't. And I still don't understand that whole MOU thing or whatever that is, where
He signed a
he was
contract. Like, it's not
he was
final. Once you
locked
sign a
in. But
memorandum of understanding, the buyout is enforceable.
okay,
So the
so he
buyout
was
was
locked in,
enforceable.
but was still
Louisville
allowed
would
to
have
coach
had,
at Indiana State.
yeah, like that.
Okay,
St. Louis agreed to let him coach at Indiana State, but he had already agreed to become in principle, to become the head coach at St. Louis when Indiana State's season was over. That creates another question with him. How quickly is he going to want to move through the hiring process?
right.
Because he moved through the hiring process super quick 2 years ago, and then would have, like, Louisville wanted him to be their next head coach.
Yeah, yeah,
And they couldn't move on it because they would have had to have paid the absolute max full amount to get him out of it. Now, looking back, they might have wished that they did that.
right.
Not that Pat Kelsey's doing a bad job, but you know, it's there's going to be a lot of variables. The thing is, Mark, on your thing earlier, tons of competition for such a quality coach. That's what we're talking about. Like, the cycle is setting up that
Syracuse, Providence. I mean,
LSU.
LSU. It's like people keep mentioning Ohio State if they were to like tank the rest of the way,
Can't
but
see
right,
it.
I mean, right now they're not looking bad, and the Big Ten is solid, but they're not as good as they were last year, top to bottom. Yeah, it's shaping up for Cincinnati to be right there, if not at the top of the list. But as you mentioned, Oklahoma in there too, but they're an interesting one
That's a
where
place that just doesn't care
yeah,
about basketball.
yeah,
Like, they just we've seen it before. And guys, the SEC is number 1
and
in
KenPom.
net rating in KenPom.
Yeah.
Like, the Big 12 is number 3. They're all close this year. It's not like
Right.
last year, where mainly because the SEC just dog walked the ACC in the non-con last year,
Right.
that shot the SEC numbers up. But there's really very little difference in conferences between the top 3.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into the Big 12 this year, there's 6 good teams. There's 6 really good teams. There's UCF, and then there's a whole lot of
right. And who's going
like
to come out of that?
There's 11 teams that are
like
in the Big 12
TCU is
this
like
year.
knocking on the door as a bubble team, and they just like took a horrible loss.
So is West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not one of the top 6 that are ranked, or UCF, you're not good this year. You're not. I've watched them all. I've analyzed all of them. There are 6 good teams. There's UCF, which is playing well and threatening to like be right in that tier, especially after beating Texas Tech this weekend. And then there's a whole bunch of yawn. I don't want to watch that team play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, is because you have like those top teams, but the thing is, those top teams are like elite. Like,
yeah,
they all are Final Four contenders, especially the way
2,
Kansas
4,
playing
6, 14,
recently.
15, and 20.
Yeah, and like Kansas looks unbelievable. Like, especially when Darren Peterson is playing, like,
yeah,
they look fantastic.
When he's playing.
Yeah. Gosh. But yeah, it's a scenario where hurry up and wait is something that you like to say, Chad. That's a lot better than the teaching mosquitoes malaria or something like that. I didn't quite pick up on where that one was going, but yeah, it's going to be a scenario where it's a good job.
Brett, it's like trying to explain to a mosquito not to sting a human, because then you could give them malaria.
But don't they not care?
That's the point.
They're greedy. They want that blood.
They don't care. You can tell a mosquito about malaria, but he's
Fair.
still going to sting you.
Welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's a good job. It's a good job, especially it's one where you see I mean,
Well, like,
I'm sure.
Here's the perfect like compare and contrast, Brent.
Yeah.
It's why like if Cincinnati would have went into the football hiring market last year,
Yeah.
or 2 months ago, it could have been a nightmare.
Right.
Because there were a bunch of big jobs open. There weren't a bunch of super qualified candidates when in relation to the number of jobs that were open. Like, I mean, right now. And like I've talked about my concern with like a Jared Calhoun.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know defensively if he would hold up in this conference. I think offensively he would be really, really, really good. Like he has a history of multiple stops. He knows how to coach offense. Multiple stops. The defense has been a little shaky. And especially at Youngstown before he went to Utah State and started using the matchup zone. But their defense has started to slide as teams they play in league play. I don't like the 25 in a high major conference, the matchup zone. I don't. So, but you're going into, we just talked about, 4 or 5 jobs that are going to open, that are going to be in, if Cincinnati opens, they'll be right in that mix, if not at the top of that group, depending on what a coach is looking for in his next destination. If you looked at football, you could have been 15th on that list, 20th on that list in a year where there's 7 good potential candidates. So now you're way down the list and you're scraping and clawing and trying to find what you hope is a good fit, but you don't have a lot. You're going through the interview process and going, I don't know about this one. But Cincinnati should be one of the 3, 4, 5 best jobs available in this cycle. And you've got Shirts, and you've got Calhoun, and you've got Olin at New Mexico, and you've got Luke Murray,
Tony
hanging
Skinn
in there. I'm not sold on Tony Skinn.
What about Martelli? VCU is an easy place to win.
Like a lot of people have won it at VCU. So I'm not as sold on that one, like right from the jump, but he's got the pedigree. And here again, like here is the inherent, and this gets to what Aaron was talking about a little bit ago. If you're going to succeed in this league, you better find a guy that you believe is going to be able to be a top 25, 30 coach in the sport.
Yeah.
Because if you're hiring a guy that you don't have that full conviction on, you're going to be in the same boat every year. You're going to be, there's 6 schools that are sitting in the top 20, and you're trying to fight to be number 7. If you have an amazing year, maybe you can get up to number 6. But the reality is you're probably going to be 8 or 9 or 10. And that's probably going to be right on the cut line or on the outside looking in more often than not. So it's a hard position to hire a coach. But if you're going to do it, you're going to want to be in a cycle that looks like this one, because your odds of getting that right are much higher when you're one of the 3, 4 best jobs in the country that's available, as opposed to a year like last year where there were a ton of college coaching changes. The year before, there were a ton of college coaching changes in basketball. And now, okay, well, maybe you're the 8th best job, but maybe the guy you want is your main guy. Maybe the 3 guys you want as your main guys get one of those 7 jobs ahead of you. Now you're down to the 4th guy. Is the 4th guy gonna be a top 25 level coach in the country eventually? Probably not, unless you get really lucky. So
shot in the dark,
you know.
I mean, that's a crazy thing. Is like John Gross is another name that people are tossing out there. Where like if it was a pass, like you're mentioning, if it was you fall in at the 8th, school in the circuit in that carousel, if you will, then you're probably looking at the John Grosses of the world, and and that level. But no, you're swinging for the fences at the top, and this is a perfect time. And you've got a guy that everyone's falling in love with, and everyone's having them as their Cinderella team out there in St. Louis and the Billikens, baby. And did you know that there's one team that has the most wins against what was it? Yeah, the most wins against the Bearcats in like I forget what it was. Or anyway, the answer is St. Louis. It's like we've played them the most and have the most wins against them, or second most wins. I don't know. The answer is St. Louis. So
nobody knows at this point. Nobody knows what it is.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna look it up anyway.
My God.
But anyway, wrapping it all up, pretty it's a good high level.
Crypt Keeper just says Memphis. He's disputing whatever your answer was and saying Memphis instead. And he might be right because we don't know what the question was.
Sure don't.
I'll find it. The answer is St. Louis, though. But yeah. If you guys have anything more on as I look this up, if you guys have anything more on basketball and whatnot, the crazy
UNC
thing is,
Charlotte.
Crazy thing is, we still have 2 games this upcoming week, 2 opportunities to.
We got 6 weeks left.
Puxatawny
Phil saw a shadow today. We got 6 more weeks of Bearcat basketball, Brent.
Can you believe he does that, man?
It's unbelievable. Am I high on Luke Murray? I will say this. I have known Luke for a long time. I get along with Luke really well. It would be great for Bearcat Journal if Luke Murray was the next UC head coach. So, yeah. The thing is, with Luke, he'll recruit. He's going to run really, really good offense. He runs the offense for UConn. He's going to have kind of an understanding of what works and what doesn't. He's been at the high major level for a long time. His dad was
in Space Jam.
His dad was in Space Jam. Very true. You don't know defensively what that would look like because he hasn't run his own program. So that would be a big question mark. And then there's inevitably, when you jump to this level, if you've never been a head coach before, there's going to be a learning curve. So how long does that learning curve take? Is it a year for him to get adjusted? Is it 2 years for him to get adjusted? By then, are you losing confidence? Because we know how this works now. If by year 2, you're not pretty close to where you want to be, then fan confidence starts to fade, and then everybody wants you fired. So there are unknowns with Luke. I think of the group of candidates out there, I wouldn't have, I'd have shirts in. He's going to be the number 1 guy in this coaching search, in this coaching cycle. There's not going to be anybody on the same platform as Shirts because of what he did at Indiana State and then transferring that to St. Louis and seeing St. Louis jump as quickly as they've jumped in year 2. So Shirts is on a tier of his own. I would have Murray in that same category as Calhoun, Olin, I don't know, Murray. Those 3 guys would be in the second group. And then you drop down a tier. I think Martelli and Skin. There's a couple others that as we go through February, new names will emerge. But DePaul, he changed his answer. DePaul. He's taking DePaul over St. Louis, Brent.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of where this is at. The good news is Cincinnati should be, regardless of what happens, Cincinnati's going, if it opens, is going to be one of the better jobs on the market in this cycle. It might be the best, might not be the best, but it's gonna be in the upper group, and you're gonna have a chance to get get a really good coach. Will it be good enough? I don't know, because the standard, what you have to do, because this is not going to be a place where you're just going to buy the best players and have all the money at your expense. The money's going to be good. You're going to be able to put a good roster together, but you're not going to be North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky and Kansas. Like, they're going to have more resources. You're going to have good resources. You're going to have a really good fan base. You're going to have a lot to work with. But to be successful in this conference, you better be really, really good at the X's and O's and at landing the Jimmies and the Joes. You're welcome, Cincy Toughness 101.
All right, let's timestamp this.
All right, that timestamp brought to you by our good friends at Quick Paper Supply. You know all about Quick Paper Supply by now. They're the local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
All righty. Well, this is normally the time where we would riff with Royer, but our
are we going to riff with Brent? Brent, what did you and Ryan text about this week?
You know, he's been MIA, man. He's left me on red for a couple days now. It's kind of sad. Something weird. I feel like he doesn't really get my messages anymore or something like that. But you know, it's just
Chad
okay.
certainly doesn't.
No, so I text Chad on the side. Yeah, something weird. You know, a little peel back of the curtain. I can't send text to a group chat anymore, the BBP group chat, and it really hurts my heart. That's the thing. Yeah, true, Young. I agree. Brent's already riffed enough, so I'm going to sit back and let Aaron riff. I'm excited for Aaron to riff.
Do what? Why? You couldn't let me know this? I don't know. At any point in time before now?
No, he just let you know right now.
All right. I don't have a sports question, so
Here we go.
I
got a question.
I had a question, but it's not.
I got a quick one. Okay, favorite Winter Olympics memory, because that starts on Friday.
Starts Friday. Yeah, it starts Friday. It snuck up on us. I mean, the greatest. Yeah, that's the greatest Winter Olympics story in the history of Winter Olympic stories. Tanya Harding wiping out Nancy Kerrigan in the lead up to the Winter Olympics, and Jeff Gillooly, was it, or Gaduli? No, he wasn't a Gaduli. Sorry,
not
Jeff
a Gaduli.
Kissinger, Ayers, and Pettigrew in Lubbock tonight. It could be worse. It could be the.
There was one worse the other night.
Oh my God! Did you see that, Brent, the other night?
Yeah. Well, actually, what?
Kissinger, Sermons, and Padilla in the same game at the same time.
Yep.
Did you see the technical Doug Schouts called on Kentucky Saturday?
No.
I can't. It was Garrison or somebody blocked a shot, like right at the rim, fast break, blocked the shot. The guy shooting the layup continues off to the right. The guy that blocks the shot just takes like 2 steps and like yells into the camera for like half a second. Boop, teed him up. Like wasn't in the guy's face. The guy was like 4 steps in the other direction. Just let out like a very basic, boom, teed him up. There was 3 technicals in 90 seconds in a Doug Schouts game on Saturday.
We are in the third interruption of a story, or we have to go back like 2 or 3 levels to get back to where we originally were at this point.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing about what Padilla did in that UCF Texas Tech game?
He's so bad.
Where the game ended pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the fans rushed the field.
Of a second back on the clock just to get the fans. So I'm convinced that's the only reason he did it. It was an 8-point game. 2 seconds, 0.2 of a second he put back on the clock just to get the fans off the court so that they could storm the court again when the game was over. That guy sucks.
I finally found it. Cincinnati has their most victories against what NCAA school?
Doesn't matter. The answer is St. Louis.
St. Louis.
That's the name of the segment, by the way.
Bring me shirts. Bring me shirts.
The debut of the Jamaican bobsled team. That was a big deal. I love seeing that.
Just a movie. Cool Runnings.
What was the speed skater
based on a true story?
Apollo Antonino.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yeah,
I love speed skating. Is fun to watch. Those guys are nuts. Could you imagine being little and getting into that? like that's your thing. Like you're all like this far off the ice, going like 70 miles an hour on skates.
When you wreck, you're broken for 6 months.
Broken in half. Just like skipping a rock across a lake. That's you going across the ice.
Adding some of the Winter X Games to the Winter Olympics was pretty cool.
Yeah,
with like snowboarding and half pipe stuff and that kind of.
What was that one hockey game? Not
the Miracle on Ice,
because I wasn't in this beautiful thing we call world, but the 2010 one, Canada versus America. I remember that being pretty fun one to watch while in college, sipping on some lollipops, enjoying life. But yeah,
my riffing question was going to have to do with the Super Bowl, and it was just simply going to be, what are you looking forward to most to putting in your face at the Super Bowl spread? Like, what food is it that has you excited?
Oh, baby.
We're not done with the menu yet. We're working on it. Some kind of stuffed jalapenos. I'm gonna do I think Sloppy Joe sliders. I made a really good Sloppy Joe. I'm gonna run that back and do some Sloppy Joe sliders with Grippos, like crunched down in the sandwich. You got to have Grippos on your Sloppy Joes. That's a must. I don't know. I Buffalo chicken dip's always a winner.
Yep.
Skyline dip.
Skyline dip's always a winner.
Have you ever done Reuben dip?
No, I'm not a big Reuben fan myself.
Family, a little Polish in our blood, so yeah, we love a good Reuben dip. Yeah, we're all gonna do some sort of a appetizer dish. So I have no idea.
I think we're doing appetizers, just straight appetizers this year. I've done like chili, 3 or 4 different kinds of chili. We've done like the taco bar thing a bunch. Or, make 3 or 4 different meats and then proteins and then all the fixins. But because we got a stupid ass basketball game at 2:00 on Super Bowl Sunday, I think it's just going to be appetizers this year.
How about that? Should be fun. But you get to see a Babani. Over under on the national anthem, Aaron.
Well, I would like to tell you what I would be excited about to eat before we move on.
I want to hear it.
By the way, Reubens are totally underrated.
Thank you.
What's that little chain in Cincinnati called?
Izzy's.
Yeah, man, some potato pancakes, and they got the best Reuben in the city. I'm telling you,
potato pancakes are amazing. I love potato pancakes.
Just stupid good.
You're my boy.
But we're doing dips as well, I think. But we're gonna make some homemade pretzels here as well. For the dips, specifically like a nice little vessel for some of these dips. We're going to do. Rita's got a spinach artichoke dip that she found a recipe that she wants to try and give a go. She makes really good buffalo chicken dip. As long as I'm not left to watch over it, and then it gets burned to shit, and that was a mess. That was a mess the last time.
You slept on the couch.
I was watching the game and I got distracted because that's what I do. I don't know. There was another dip. I found this queso with brisket in it at Costco yesterday, and I'm pretty excited about trying that. Comes in like a nice little pint container or whatever, maybe a little bigger than a pint, but yeah, we're gonna be messing around with some dips and some homemade.
Mess around and find out about these dips. All right,
mailbag it. Greg Hooden brings to you the mailbag. The first BCJ car purchased from Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota has been delivered.
Like Carvana?
I think he had to order it. I think they worked on like the order, and he ordered it for the person. So like it.
I thought you meant like it got delivered to their house.
Well, I mean, Greg might have taken it to their house. I don't know. He can answer. It was, but it's successfully in the hands of a BCJ member. Maybe that BCJ member can show up in the chat and let us know about their experience, because it doesn't get any better if you're a Bearcat fan than buying a car from a diehard Bearcat fan. And there's no bigger Bearcat fan than Cincy Greg Hooden.
Let's go.
Find him, Cincy Greg Hooden, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, maybe on that new AI bot server where they are talking about speaking their own language and eliminating the humans. Maybe at Cincy Greg Hooden is there. Life? Oh yeah, that happened over the weekend.
Bet.
Yep. But anyhow, if you need a new ride, a new whip, as the kids would say, get to Beachmont Toyota, and Greg Hooden will get you taken care of. You could whip, you could nay if you'd like to. But what's more important is just buying your new or used Toyota from Greg at Beachmont Toyota. Go to Beachmont Toyota, ask for Greg, hit him up on social media, slide into his DMs, respectfully, of course. Respectfully, of course. And he will get you taken care of. He was just here like 5 minutes ago. What happened to Greg? He usually chimes in and says, "That's me."
He'll be back.
I feel like he's running a little behind. Some of his comments made it look like he's running a couple minutes behind, so he doesn't want to miss a minute.
I love that about him.
I like that.
Just got to clean up a couple things real fast. Yes, Matthew.
It wasn't St. Louis.
Talking about TJ Oshie, the shootout. And yes, the answer is yes, St. Louis. We are 59-19 against them. Next closest, Xavier, 48 wins against them. So St. Louis, the signs, it's all there. Take it away, Aaron.
All right. Will do. Let's start in the football portion of the mailbag, as we always do. And that is the end of the football portion of the mailbag. We'll move on to the basketball portion of the mailbag.
Maybe we get a good friend on soon, Chad. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's we're right in about that range where it's time. Wanted to give the transfers time to get here and get acclimated so we can ask some questions. But I thought about it this week. If I would have known that Ryan was not going to be here tonight, then I might have scheduled it for tonight, but maybe next week.
Right. So the basketball portion of the mailbag, with Wes Miller very likely being let go after this season, will be entering a coaching search. Could the presence of a GM in Corey Evans potentially deter a candidate? I just don't want this to become an issue during the search.
No. If the number one guy you want says, I don't want a GM, or I don't want the current GM, it's not going to get in the way of hiring a coach. Like we're not talking about a GM making, $3, $4, $5 million with a $9 million buyout. So for most look, Corey is not set up as, at least at this point, as the guy that is like overseeing the basketball program. He is an extension of the head coach, not the head coach is an extension of him. So I don't think you would be in a situation where the head coach would be answering to Corey. And I think that's what a coach would potentially have a problem with. I think it would be here. This is Corey. He is here to assist you in your NIL contracts and your roster construction. And I don't think there's a coach out there, given Corey's background, that would be like, I'm not interested in his input, given that he helped build the Oklahoma City Thunder roster.
That was a point I wanted to bring up is the fact that it's not as if he's unqualified for a GM role. It's
Right.
also I would think if you're a new coach coming into Cincinnati, it's a pretty nice bridge to have as you are coming into a program of a guy who's already done the legwork for scouting and trying to figure out around the league. If he's working anything like what we hear with the football side of things, they've looked at tape the entirety of the season since last season ended of everyone who's out there playing and figuring out who makes this roster better should they enter the portal. I imagine Corey's probably even got some student interns under him, if not actual employees under him, not doing this entirely by himself, especially with the amount of film he probably has to digest. But yeah, I would think that would be a bridge, not something that would deter a candidate.
Yeah, and we're also not to a point like in football, like the head coach has a strength coach that he brings with him, right? Like that we're not to a point yet in basketball. The GM has not been around long enough that like you're going to hire a coach that's going to be like, I'm bringing my GM with me. So no, I don't think it'll be something that impacts the coaching search.
All right. And then in the comments, real quick, Chad, Joe asked, didn't he sign a 3-year deal? I believe it was.
He did. He signed a 3-year deal, but it's not, like I said, it's not like it was a $4 million contract where you're unable to get out from under it if you desire to get out from under it.
All right. Keeping it moving. Have there been any rumblings from Caden Allen's camp with the growing pressure around Wes Miller potentially being gone after this season? Do you think a new coach would be able to retain him?
No. I don't think a new coach. No, there haven't been any rumblings. No, I don't think a new coach would be able to retain him.
Okay.
Am I like 0%? No, like there's always a possibility that the new coach comes in, looks at his tape, and says, hey, we'd like to keep this guy. Let's see what we need to do to make that happen. It's always a possibility. But look, man, like just anticipate if the coaching change happens that the whole roster's gone and you're going to have to start over. And maybe you keep a player or two, maybe you keep a signee or whatever. But the reality is if a new coach comes in, you're not going to recognize the roster next year that takes the floor for the exhibition games in mid-October.
By the way, while you were in the middle of your little monologue there, Greg Hooden checked in with his favorite Super Bowl dish.
He's 10 minutes behind.
Yeah. All right. Over under on 3.5 more wins.
I don't care. I don't care.
You could have said it at 2.5, and I'm probably still going under.
We know it.
I'll say over.
I think there's enough winnable home games, but I don't have any confidence in anything because this team's not consistently good enough to string together 3-4 good games in a row. We see it in 1-2 game spurts where they play well and then they drop off, and then but that's what happens when you've got an inefficient team that struggles to shoot threes, struggles to shoot twos, struggles to shoot free throws. There's no confidence in how many wins they're going to get over the next 9. Like, I think it's probably going to be 4 or 5, but I don't have any confidence in that whatsoever.
Yeah, the funny thing is, right now, Ken Palm has them, obviously.
Sorry, not 4 or 5, 3 or 4.
Yeah, right now, Ken Palm has them winning 4 the rest of the way to finish 7-11 in Big 12 play, which would be the same amount of wins that they have had each of the last
2 years.
2 seasons. Just nuts. But and would tie the highest winning percentage they have in Big 12 play since they've entered.
Me and Greg's Super Bowl spread is sounding very much alike at this point. Just saying. All right. If Chom can't play, what is your starting lineup versus West Virginia? Any chance Baba plays the 5 and we go small? And this kind of goes hand in hand with the any update on Chom in the chat?
No idea. I don't know. If he doesn't play, I think you probably start McKinley, but I do think you have to look at the problem is they're running out of options. Like
quickly.
If you play Chom at the 5, who plays the 4? Celestine? If you played Celestine at the 4, who plays the 3? Like 3, 4, 5 right now is.
You hope that Buck is healthy at this point.
You hope so, yeah. You hope so.
As long as it's not like mono or something. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what it was.
I do like how the unheard, figure outable question from Scott Springer led to Wes giving an update on Chanabayev that it was just a high ankle sprain when he asked about Chom. So high ankle sprain.
Gonna be out for some time.
Yeah, you'll be out for some time, but potentially back, but definitely not.
No, he didn't say some time. He said he'll be out for some time. Like it's going to be a couple weeks, I think, at least.
Mm-hmm. Shanabayev's camp is looking into suing Wes Miller for HIPAA violation. Any more on the lineup stuff?
I would guess if Chom's out, we'll see McKinley slide in with Halveen as the backup at the 5. I wouldn't mind seeing Baba play some 5, but I do worry like if that's going incredibly small at the other 4 spots. And then you're potentially taking away Baba's ability to rebound because then he's going to be the guy responsible for blocking out their center and he's not going to be able to go get the
filling
ball.
the lane. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't love the idea of Baba at the 5.
Halveen getting a start would blow my mind.
Or at least not the idea. I don't mind the idea of Baba at the 5, but with the way the roster is currently situated, I don't think it's great. And you've got Tyler and you've got Halveen, so play them at the 5.
Conspiracy or not, what are your thoughts on the Darren Peterson situation? Who's really calling the shots to have him sit, Chad?
I mean, he's playing 20, are we really thinking the goal is just to let him play like 16 minutes and score 22 points and then take him out of the game like down the stretch? That doesn't make any sense.
You don't think it's load management?
In-game load management? No, I think if they were going to sit him, they would just say his hamstrings hurt and sit him.
Well, the conspiracy. Have you guys heard the conspiracy?
It would almost be point shaving if you were doing load management like that.
Well, no, right. The conspiracy is his agent is the one pulling the strings behind the scene. Like people are running with that on Twitter right now. Yeah, in games. Like there's a video of like the AD coming and talking to Darren Peterson during a timeout in the second half in the game on Saturday, and Bill Self is in like an interview talking about how like he's had to be held out, and he's like, well, he's been held out because he's been injured, and like weird things, and like this agent is tied to Joel Embiid, who infamously like was like sat out but ended up, I don't know.
Like if they're playing him 22, 24 minutes and then pulling him out, like they're the dumbest people in the history of the game. If you're going to sit him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I want to see him play because he's freaking
He's incredible.
damn
He's the
good.
best player. He's the most talented. He's the best player in the country.
That dunk was unreal. That got me out of my seat. I was like, whoa. Heyo.
If your agent's micromanaging you to that point, though, if you're an NBA team,
Find a
do
new agent.
you even want to draft him?
No.
I wouldn't either. All right. If you had a donor judge grant Landers Nolly eligibility before the season, how many more games would this team have won?
Not many.
I will disagree.
Okay.
It would have given you a 2, an actual 2.
He's not a 2.
He would have
He's a
played
3.
3.
I think he could have played the 2.
He's not a 2.
Would have loved it at the 2.
Yeah, I just
He can't guard the 2, and he can't dribble. He's not a 2. He's a 3.
maybe
Maybe
like,
more of a 4 than he is a
maybe
3.
we're sniffing the very outside of the bubble instead of not being anywhere near the bubble.
Yeah.
In the end, it still comes down to coaching.
In any case, shoulda, coulda, woulda. When exactly does Miller's contract buyout lessen? April 1st. We've said it 100 times.
Are you guys trolling me with this?
Is it the day after the regular season? I think they're asking in relation to the actual calendar for the NCAA.
We've covered this a million times.
Is it the day after the regular season is over? Would playing in some little pity tournament delay that?
The buyout drops on April 1st. That doesn't mean that he can't be fired before that. It just means that they'd have to negotiate somewhere between what the buyout is before it drops and when it drops. Neither side wants this to drag out until April 1st. There's going to be a lot of jobs that I think would be interested in Wes Miller that could potentially open this cycle if Cincinnati moves on. That he's going to want to have the ability to go continue coaching. And Cincinnati's going to want to be able to get after their coaching search if they decide that they're going to make a change as quickly as possible. So April 1st is the contract buyout date. I don't think it's a big deal in terms of when Cincinnati decides to make a move.
I mean, I think they're talking about this because I don't know if you guys saw, but the first bubble watch for the Crown came out, and currently the Bearcats are in the field.
I don't care.
And instead of being like the first 4 out, like they say, the first 4 teams spared.
Oh boy.
Tell the Crown that we scratched their back last season. They can scratch our back this season and allow us a nice pardon.
Well, a lot of schools got out of it by firing their coaches and saying, "Sorry,
we don't have a team." Yeah,
we have a team.
We got a lot going on over here already.
Any chance we can get a Chris Lepore breakdown of the UC offensive woes?
No, probably not. Chris has got 3 boys that are all like about sports age and a full-time job. Unfortunately, no. I don't think. I think it's going to be a little while before we can get Chris back on. He is rather busy.
I would not ask him to rewatch any of these games to cut tape either.
Also fair.
It's cruel and unusual punishment and is currently against the Constitution of these United States.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure where to put this or if it means anything as things stand, but Lincoln Cosby, a 6'9" player from Montverde Prep, has reclassed to 2026. He has Cincy ties.
No idea. I have no clue. I don't know. Thanks for the note, Jerry. There's not a question in there. So
there's not a question mark either. There is an exclamation point, however.
Yeah, but thanks for the heads up.
Does Brent have any more trivia answers to give us without the question?
St. Louis.
The answer is St. Louis. Moving on to that ends the basketball portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the baseball portion of the mailbag. That ends the baseball portion of the mailbag. We will move on to the banks portion of the mailbag. What was your early teen dangerous tools of choice? For instance, a slingshot, a butterfly knife, throwing stars, etc.
Throwing stars were awesome. Still are. I wouldn't trust myself with one, but those things were phenomenal. We were big on like the you take the 2 liter of Coke, you empty out some of it, and then you put the Mentos in it, close the lid, and watch it explode. Like we were big on that. Did that probably too many times. Got in trouble for it, time or two. People getting mad because a 2 liter of Coke exploded in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wasn't a big weapons guy per se. Played a lot of wiffle ball. It was our thing as kids.
Okay.
We had jarts.
Our 11-year-old has printed out one of every one of those things so far, at least one of every one of those things on his new printer, his new 3D printer. So
what, a slingshot, a butterfly knife, a throwing star?
Yeah.
Jarts.
He just wanted to practice with it. He'd never had a butterfly knife, and he could print one and wanted to practice with it and see what it was like. It was kind of funny. But for me, my dangerous tool of choice was fire. I lit everything on fire, usually in the most dangerous of places too. Like, why are you lighting a pizza box on fire right near the gas meter
propane
tank?
Yeah.
Or you're behind the car hiding and lighting something on fire right near the gas tank of the. What's wrong with you, Aaron? What are you doing?
Man.
Yeah, I like to light things on fire. Again, just you're near a pile of leaves. Stop it. What are you doing? That kind of thing.
Things are starting to make sense, Brent.
Yeah, they are. Well,
things are starting to make sense.
My grandparents, they were setting my brother and I up for a wild little young life. Like first Christmas, they got us those slingshots, like the one that you like put your arm into and you have like hold it. And it's like attached right here, and it's like,
I had one of those. I definitely had one of those.
That was badass. And then the next Christmas, they got us airsoft guns, not pellet guns, airsoft guns. So those got good use before they had to constantly be hidden by our parents. And then the next Christmas, they got us a crossbow. And like after we like shot like a couple of like the bows, like, and they immediately went into the ground and like hid in the ground, our parents are like, nope, you guys are not using this, and they hid that. and then my dad had to like call his parents and be like, yo, no more of these gifts,
no more weapons.
We're done.
Our kids weapons.
Yeah.
It was Kelsey had a crossbow, I'd be dead. Like middle of the night. That'd be it for me.
Yeah. It wasn't like a compound bow or anything scary like that, but it was a crossbow, and that thing that dart came out fast, like real fast. So yes, it would be scary.
The whole point.
It was a trickle effect that was
the only point.
It was not good.
Oh my god, that's funny. And lastly, do you think Gino Suarez was a better pickup at $15 million than Schwarber at $30 million for 5 years?
No, but at least they did something.
For 1 year, it's not better. Going past that year, it all depends. I also, you look into the actual numbers, Suarez strikes out about as much as Schwarber. Their numbers are strikingly similar as far as strikeouts go. They're both on the wrong side of 30, but it is what it is. I don't expect Suarez to repeat with 45 plus home runs again. Schwarber, you at least Suarez can play a position in the field.
No, he can't. No,
First base. He can play first base. You just stand there and catch the damn ball. He can play first base.
He can't.
But Schwarber offers you nothing in the field either.
Yeah, they're both DHs. Like Suarez is going to play exclusively DH in Cincinnati. But they needed a bat in the worst way, and they went out and got one. Like I don't love it, but I can't say they have to get a bat. They have to get a bat, and then they get the best bat available and go, well, not like that. I'm not going to be that guy.
And the damn thing is, you probably could have had Alonso at a similar price tag, but the Reds doing the Reds thing. They got a guy who's going to drive sales of other things because the city likes him. Suarez.
He's back. Oh yeah.
It's annoying to me that the Castellinis somehow win again. Gross. That's the mailbag. Get us out of here.
I think he could be awesome. Just hitting dingers.
Sure.
Let it happen.
If you can come close, he's hit 49 twice in his career, never more, and he's gone for 30 plus a handful of times.
Quoth the Raven.
We'll see.
Nevermore.
That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Monday, guys. That's a beautiful Monday. Yet again, bright and tidy Monday. A beautiful BBP Monday. You know what, guys? We've got two basketball games this week. That's right. Thursday night.
Thursday, Sunday, yeah.
The West Virginia Mountaineers come to town. Take down those Mountaineers on Thursday. And then, of course, Sunday, UCF. I thought the UCF Knights were going to be ranked. They are not ranked. I was going to say it's going to be a ranked win at home. Again, something to be excited about. But that's Super Bowl Sunday. Then there's Super Bowl. A lot of fun things coming this week. And, of course, guys, stay locked in the BCJ because we're going to keep you covered, wall-to-wall coverage on all of that. Chad, I'm guessing you're going Wednesday with the BCJ, if I had to guess.
Yeah. There's not a game on Wednesday. So
Wednesday night, no game, BCJ pod. That's called a teaser. But, big shouts to Greg Hooden. Big shouts to Quick Paper Supply. Big shouts to Cincy Lake. Big shouts to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. And big shouts.
You want to see how I really do a teaser, Brent?
Let's tease.
If you want to hear more about Eugenio Suarez signing with the Cincinnati Reds, you can tune in to George in the Jungle Tuesday nights, 9:00 with Cincinnati legend, former WLWT sportscaster George Vogel and Aaron Smith right here on BearcatJournal.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hey, I'm going to one-up you. I'm going to one-up you, and we're going to have the backdrop for the BCJ podcast presented by the Holy Grail sitting as the exit here. That's the teaser of all teasers. Oh, here we are. We're back here. So you know what? Shouts to everyone. Shouts to everyone. So for my guys, for the crew, for the squad, for Aaron Smith and for Chad Brendel and for Ryan Royer, whoever you are, now they be. I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BPP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.